You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is the program called The Wonderful World of Wardini Books, and as always, it's our pleasure to have in the studio the wonderful Lou from Wardini Books in Havelock North. How you going, Lou?
Kia ora, Ken. I'm very well. How are you doing?
Oh, I can't complain. All the better for seeing you, you know that.
Oh, absolutely, thanks.
Now, before we get on to today's three great books, just remind our listeners where we can find Wardini Books.
We are 16 Tomato Road in Napier and 44 Hastings Street in Napier, and it's ridiculous how I have to really think about that.
I know, every week it's the same.
Every week.
Three great books, Kuwi and Friends. That's the play on the words, isn't it? Kuwi and Friends.
Yes, so Kuwi is the Kiwi. So
Is
it's
it
a
like
little
Kuwi?
character. Kuwi the Kiwi. I think Kat Quinn, who wrote the Kuwi the Kiwi books, I think it is a play on the noise that the bird makes. Could be wrong. But this is just the most stunning book. I mean, look how stunning that is.
Fantastic, isn't it?
So Kat is the artist as well as the author, and she has worked on the Māori with somebody else. Panya Papa has done the Te Reo Māori translation. So this is a really comprehensive picture dictionary for children, obviously, but also I would say for anybody who wants to pick up a bit more Māori. So it is so comprehensive, you can open it at random and find the universe.
Look at that.
Yeah, so you've got all the planets. We know that Marama is the moon, but did you know that, let me pick one that I can actually pronounce without thinking about it, Aparani is Mercury.
Who wouldn't know that?
Yeah. And then stars of Matariki, and then also the world, Te Ao, the world. And you don't really think about other languages having names for countries, but of course they do, you know, like we know Aotearoa is our own country, New Zealand. Tiamani is Germany, Inya is India. It just goes on, and all with these amazing illustrations.
Fabulous drawings.
Even measurements. So, 1,000 kilograms, look, because the whale is on there. So, yeah.
A lot of books, the drawings make the books, don't they?
Yeah, well, it's just fascinating. I think it's that kind of book that you could just pore over forever. And once you've learned a word, you know that panana is banana.
What's the Māori for asparagus?
Huatao.
Ooh,
Huatao, asparagus.
I love huatao on toast.
Yeah, do you? Do you mash it in?
Yeah, with lots of salt.
And there is the wharenui, which is a beautiful one with all the little bits of the... So there's a bit of tikanga in there as well. So I just think it's so comprehensive. Even it comes with a poster of feelings.
Oh, look at that.
So I think it was great that children can learn to say their feelings, because they don't often have words for how they're feeling, do they? So if they can recognise the face, let's find a really cool one. Whakamao's a good one, isn't it? That's embarrassed. Or sad, Podi is sad. You know,
Which one are you? Which one are you today?
I'm always a bit hyper. I don't know if there's one for hyper. Hyperactive mood. So, yeah, I just thought that was delightful.
And like you say, a book for everyone of all ages.
I reckon it's going to go great guns.
And then this book is called All the Dear Little Animals, and this is in your head, this one.
This one's in my head because I searched my shop last night. I know I've got 2 copies. Can I find them? No, not where I left them. So this is by Ulf Nilsson, and it's a book, a little hardback book for an independent reader, probably of about 6 and up. But you could read it to younger children, and it won't appeal to everyone, but it deals with death. So it is 3 little kids finding a dead animal. I think it's a bird that they find first, like mostly kids do, and they go, and you go, oh, it's asleep. And then the kid who's 2 goes, no, it's not, it's dead, because you're like, how do you know that?
Yes, that's
but
right.
It's Esther is the oldest one, and she's really the driver. And then little Putty is her brother, and then I can't remember the name of the boy. But Esther did the digging, I wrote the poems, and Esther's little brother Putty cried. That was his job, because what they've done is they've started a funeral company for little dead animals that they find. So it's called Funerals Limited, and that's what they do. They've all got a role. And Putty, I think, is the important one because he's so little, and he's the one that heartfelt feels the sadness. And I think it's a really good one, in a nice, quite fun way, that they are dealing with death and the traditions that we have around death that help us through the grieving process. I think it's a really important, lovely little book.
Yeah, it's a difficult subject, isn't it? It's like telling kids that Santa Claus doesn't exist. When do you sort of bring that in?
Well, what are you talking about, Ken? Of course he exists.
Of course he does. Dead right there. And our last book is called The Longest Day. I thought it was about a war, but it's not.
No. This is about the Coast to Coast, which is the really, really long adventure race from Oh, it ends in New Brighton, doesn't it? But it goes right across the centre of the South Island there. So this is actually Matt Kelman's book, and the subtitle is Standing Up to Depression and Tackling the Coast to Coast. So the longest day is where you do it in a day. It's 240 something kilometres, and it starts with, I think you have a little run to get to your bike, and then you bike, and then you run 30 something kilometres through the Goat Pass, and then you get on your bike and get, oh, you kayak.
Awesome.
And it's amazing. So he's always been a fit man. He's a very successful journalist and got a wife, 2 beautiful daughters. Everything should be absolutely fine, but certain pressures build up and he has a breakdown, and it's quite a big one, and it takes everybody by surprise when it probably shouldn't have, you know, as the way that depression can go.
Indeed.
We start with him coping with his depression. He's got his medication, he's doing okay, and he's cheering a couple of friends in at the end of the longest day, which is where you do all that 240 k's on one day, as opposed to you can do it in 2 days, I think, and have a sleep at some point, which would be nice. So he's watching a couple of mates come in, and they're going, you should do it, Matt, you should do it, and he's like, nah. But of course, once that seed is planted...
Can't help himself.
No, not at all. So it's about him coping with his depression, learning to live with that, and also the training that he does for coast to coast. So many things like, you know, yeah, I can ride a bike. Yeah, but can you ride it at 75 kilometres an hour with your feet clipped in, going over all sorts of bumpy terrain? So he has a couple of spills and cracked ribs and things like that. And the kayaking is just so much harder than I would have ever imagined. Yeah, so it's definitely an adventure race I won't be doing. Yeah, and then we're right with him to the end, where we go through the longest day with him, and it's brilliant.
10, what would you give it?
10 out of 10 for a book about men's health, well, anybody's health really, mental health, and you don't even have to be in the sports side of it, but that was fascinating to me too.
Alright, before we get back to work, just remind our listeners where you are. Wardini Books in?
16 Tomato Road in Havelock North and 44 Hastings Street, Lakehead.
As was our pleasure, Lou. Look after yourself. Talk to the same time, same place next time.
Cheers, Ken.